Yeah, I'm just gonna start. Hey, it's me, and it's that time of year again. 2021 has come and gone, and with it, all of the year's best and worst movies. I love going to the movies more than I love doing pretty much anything else. More than I love movies, I love to talk. I talk all the time, and you guys know it. And so I'm going to be here now talking to you about my top 10 movies of 2021. I do want to preface this by saying a few things. Number one is this will be more of a top 5 list. I do have 10 movies here that I feel are really, really good, but there's really only 5 movies that I have a ton to say about. We're going to rattle through numbers 10 through 6 kind of quickly, and then we'll get into my top 5. Secondly, and I feel like I say this every year, but I also feel like I need to every year, I have not seen every movie. I have missed some titles like The Green Knight and Judas and the Black Messiah that I really wanted to hit because I had heard great things. There just is not enough time in the day, folks. I saw as many as I could. I had some trouble making up this list. I wanted something that moved me because that's really what movies are all about, and that's the kind of entertainment that I'm seeking out actively right now. That being said, let's get into my top 10 picks. Number 10 is Godzilla Vs Kong. Is the script dumb? Oh yeah. Are the human characters pretty insufferable? Absolutely. But they gave King Kong a beard, and it was the first true escapism that I felt at the movies all year. Another movie at my number 9 spot that I really connected with was The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Tammy Faye Bakker is someone I did not know a lot about before going to see this movie. The movie did successfully make me feel like she has not been given a fair shake as far as public perception goes. At every turn, this movie succeeds in making you hate Andrew Garfield's character a little bit more and making you love Tammy Faye all that much more for it. Moving on to number 8 is a movie that I know a lot of fans were disappointed with, but I absolutely adored. That was No Time to Die. This James Bond installment, I think, is by far Daniel Craig's best, with some really, really badass moments, particularly a very cool car chase at the very beginning of the movie. I know a lot of people had their issues with it, but I think it was a really heartfelt and unique way to send off the best Bond of all time. I'm so sorry, Sean Connery, I respect you. Being the Ricardos is my number 7 pick. I love Lucy. I love Lucy. Who doesn't? And I love the whole cast and creative team behind this movie. Not a lot happens, and yet I found it so gripping and engaging all the way through. At number 6 is a movie that I wish I could have had higher, and that movie is Val. This is a very unique documentary. You have Val Kilmer, a very famous actor that a lot of people know, recording his entire life from the time he was a teenager first entering show business to right now. He still has all of the tapes, and now he's in a place in his life where he can edit them together and release them, and that's what this movie is. It was bound to happen with a famous person eventually, especially since we are living in influencer culture now, but I am a little surprised that Val Kilmer was the first one to do it. It's a happy surprise. Val is equal parts heartwarming and devastating. Really boosted my appreciation for Val Kilmer as an actor. My number 5 pick is Tick, Tick, Boom. Directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda, this thing is paced beautifully between different shots of Andrew Garfield actually performing the show and Andrew Garfield's real life as Jonathan Larson. But the most valuable piece to this whole package is Andrew Garfield. I actually really hope that he wins the Best Actor nomination at the Oscars because I think he deserves it. This guy did 4 really great performances this year. Maybe they weren't all in such great received movies, but I do think that he deserves some recognition for that. He had one of the best years of his career, and I would love to see him walk away with an Oscar, especially for what might be his best performance yet, playing Jonathan Larson. At number 4 is a movie that I can only describe as feeling alive. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I know there was a stigma around this movie, largely because of the first one. We can go into why it failed at the box office. Some say it's the Will Smith sequel curse, but I think it's because people were just not informed as to what this movie exactly was. Those of us in the know that James Gunn is going to deliver every time he picks up a camera, and this may just be his magnum opus, at least on a technical level. I still love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 much more. Suicide Squad is so fun and makes you care about the entire squad of losers, and even though they keep betraying each other at every turn, it is interesting how at different points in the movie, you're rooting for different characters. Number 3 is definitely a movie. Bo Burnham's Inside. I know a lot of people will tell me that what I just said was false, but I wouldn't call Inside a traditional comedy special. I wouldn't call it a musical album. I would call it an independent film. And honestly, the fact that Bo was nominated for Emmys, I think is just a scheme to keep him from winning Best Cinematographer at the Oscars. And when I say being considered, I mean he should have won. When you watch it, it can be considered as nothing less than a technical marvel. That being said, the music is the most important part, and the music does not disappoint. There was a meme going around when Spotify Wrapped came out saying, "Oh, your life could be worse. You could have had Bo Burnham in your Spotify Wrapped." And as the top 0.1 of Bo Burnham's listeners, apparently, I would say, what is so wrong with that? Here comes my motto: it's not wrong to like things, and I love Bo Burnham's Inside. Rolling in at number 2 is one of the coolest movies of the year, Last Night in Soho. This is the movie, I think, with the coolest protagonist this year. I really, really love the main character in this movie, both iterations of her. And part of that is the performance, but part of it is also the position that Edgar Wright puts her in throughout the entire movie, and how he plays the modern take on the character versus the 60s fun, fashionable take on the character. If you can roll with this movie, I do think it's very easy to get sucked in and to experience something really special. On top of that, we've seen Edgar Wright do comedy, we've seen him do action, the guy never fails at anything. So it is very cool to see him try a new genre with horror. Although I don't think that this movie was particularly that scary, in my opinion.
Hey, it's a quick little video interruption. I'll let you get back to it in a minute. I'm Oliver the Ricketts. I'm obviously the person in the video you've been watching, but I also cut, edit, and produce all of the content that you see here on this channel. So I thought I'd stop in really quick between numbers 2 and 1, I know what I did, to tell you how you can support the content that gets made here. In the description, you'll see some Amazon affiliate links. They'll be to the movies that I talked about in this video, as well as the gear that I use to make this video. If you yourself are a filmmaker or a movie person, you can go down there and buy any of that stuff, and we get a kickback here at the channel that really does help a lot. Also, if you're just going shopping on Amazon, if you entered Amazon through this link, and maybe you didn't want to buy Last Night in Soho, but you do want to buy a refrigerator, as long as you get to Amazon via my link, I'll get some of that refrigerator cash. That would probably pay for a really good video. Anyways, thank you so much for your continued support, and I'll let you guys get back to the video.
And of course at number 1, there's almost no reason to say it. In years past, I have avoided putting big superhero blockbusters as my number 1 film because there's no reason for me to recommend them to you. Everybody is going to see these movies. But in the case of 2021, Spider-Man No Way Home is not only the funnest movie to come out all year, but it is the most emotionally satisfying movie that I saw in a movie theater this year. I made a whole video about it, and I don't really need to go into all the details of why I love this movie, both as a lifelong Spider-Man fan and as just a movie fan. But I do want to say this. You know a movie's special when it pulls an entire audience in. When you go see this movie in a movie theater, everybody is invested. yes, some of it is in that popcorn movie way where you want to yell, cheer, and scream. I think it's something more than that. Multiple times during this movie, people were crying. They were laughing, and that's all part of the magic of Spider-Man No Way Home. When you go to a movie theater right now, they're packed, and they're not going there to watch Nightmare Alley. I wish I didn't go see Nightmare Alley. And while I love independent small films, I don't think it's fair to say that the superhero movie is killing cinema when it is also the most true example of what cinema is this year. Because to me, cinema is an emotional experience that I have from watching what an artist put up on a screen. And that's exactly how I would describe the way that people are taking Spider-Man No Way Home. Anyways, hopping off of my soapbox, folks, that was my top 10 movies of 2021. If you like this video, definitely consider this one that my fiance made where she went through her top 10 of the year. They were very different than mine. And my friend Jeremy has a list on this channel as well of his top 10. In case you wanted more opinions, go ahead and check out this tier list I made where I went through every single movie that I saw this year. If you are enjoying my videos, I hate when people say it, but please consider subscribing. It would really help the growth of this channel. Thank you again for watching, and as always, thank you for your support. I'm Oliver Ricketts, and these were my top 10 movies of 2021.